Hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the Greater SCP Foundation. Happy 4th of July, and welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for over a year and 2 months and counting, because that's right, the daily stream streak remains strong, I'm here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next approximately 90 minutes to 2 hours, I reckon. I don't want to go on too long because I know my East Coast United States viewers would like to go out into the darkness and enjoy the fireworks displays. So, I will make that available by not staying on all evening. You're welcome, staff. You are also welcome for this adorable sweetie pumpkin who very politely waited through the intro without borking to say hello to you all. So Puppy of Interest 42 is here to say hello, the sweetest pumpkin at Site 42. Now, this is her first 4th of July. So for you questioning, how do you think the Puppy of Interest will react to the fireworks? We will sure find out. We do know that the baby is afraid of motorcycles and strange tree trunk wooden apparatuses. Skateboards are by far the scariest things Puppy of Interest 42 codename Charlie has ever encountered. So I feel that as long as there are not skateboards, this may not be a terrifying evening for the Puppy of Interest. Baby girl, here is a mandated treat from the Containment Hazard Assessment Team, i.e. chat. Puppy of Interest 42 salutes you all. Now be free, little one. And now for mine allergies. As well, before we get to today's stream subject, some very exciting news. Let me start with a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, intern Artist Rain. Congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Furthermore, Rune, Chester Factory, Amber, Lone Claw, Sleepless Dragon, Blue, Phantom Titan, Born, Dax Rays, I don't know if I said Amber yet, Amber, Gray, Black Phoenix. Any other? Zerdrin! Oh, hello, Zerdrin. Been a minute. Hope you've been doing well. Mamori. The newly minted Grims. King of Gold. Kid with Imagination. It's Quoogie. And Wifeisamentary. Everyone who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. And last but not least, interns Hunter Mark, Tambari, Scarlet, Weather Voyage, Bored as Hell, Musical Sand, Yellow Bean, Beconsu, Jolly Rancher, and O51 the Founder. Welcome to today's stream. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today, interns, just for being you. Now for today's sponsor, we are continuing the quest to open source. For those who are unfamiliar, you've missed a few recent streams. Open Sauce is a tech YouTuber convention held in the San Francisco Bay Area where I am located. I am just now learning about this from the YouTube Content Creator newsletter, and I am making it my honest effort to make my way to this YouTuber convention to meet other fellow YouTubers, network, make sure they know the SCP Foundation exists, make sure they know I exist. YouTube corporate will be there. I'm going to go hit them up and say, hey, I exist. We've got a pretty good following here on YouTube. You should invite me to these things in the future, per maybe have some thinking. I will be trying to gain knowledge from other YouTubers that I can share with the SCP Foundation community. I will be the SCP Foundation's diplomatic envoy to open source. That is my current mission. Now, this is a weekend thing, which means my cover job, ballroom dance teaching, has to be canceled for the weekend. That's a little bit of lost revenue right there. On top of which, the industry tickets for this run about $850. And then the VIP tickets, they run $1,550. Now, I am going to give you an upgrade to that. An update, I mean. And the update is I discovered before stream started, part of the reason that stream is so late, is that the VIPs sold out. I did not realize that was a thing that could happen. And so I scrambled to their customer service to confirm I am now on the wait list just in case. And I have currently procured the industry admission ticket. That way there is no way that gets sold out from under me. So I will still get access to the Thursday night networking party and early entry, including on day one, which you need the industry ticket to get access to. General Pop only gets to go to 2 days. You need the industry ticket to go to all 3. Now, we're missing out on the VIP things unless we succeed in the waiting list, but I have been informed that by getting the industry ticket, if we get the waiting list approval, we can upgrade our tickets. But the reason this is so important, the reason we have to go for the bougie-ass tickets, is because we need to, if I'm skipping work for this at my day job, we need to be able to get as much FaceTime with as many of these prominent YouTubes in the tech space, film space, gaming space, VFX space, robotics, cosplay, anything we can do to utilize in our goal to make bigger and better SCP Foundation projects, movies, games, animations. All of this can be benefited by making sure all of these very cool people know that we exist. So, I would appreciate it if you have the ability to donate a little more this month to help me mitigate the damage that this is doing to my own personal coffers. We have purchased the $800 tickets so we can get there on the quieter day, so we can go to the pre-show industry meetup party, so we can go make a name for ourselves. I'm currently commissioning Toad King Studios, our favorite SCP Foundation merch guy, to send me in with a litany of SCP Foundation stickers that I can give away. That way they don't forget about us after the weekend. That's going to be an added cost, but I do believe it will be a useful thing to add on to this. And so, Site42 staff, if you can help me make this event the best I possibly can to get us the most FaceTime with SCP possibly fans, I would appreciate your generosity in this time of high risk, high reward output. A reminder, this convention is Not like previous fundraisers I've done, where I was going to go film a play with people from the SCP community. It was a guaranteed success. Do note that donations to this is a soft power play in networking. I do think I'm highly qualified to go charm the pants off people and yap and get them interested. But this highly might just be a couple new network contacts, some information to share. It might not be a big film win, but this is the kind of thing we're trying to get our foot in the door. And so I thank you for taking this risk with me if you are able to. Reminder, never donate if you cannot donate because of your own well-being. Small donations from a lot of people is how we get this done. So do not harm yourself financially by donating to Site42 or to any other YouTuber, or to crypto scams and gambling, by the way. Instead, take care of yourself as a community. We will all do this together. Whew. I'm a little nerves after that whole VIP ticket sellout and making sure I could scramble to get the industry ticket. That way, we were not going to miss out. Because if I missed out on this, I would have fired myself on your behalf. But I'm going to be there. We're making this work. I will not fail you, Site42 staff. Okay. So, that is the opening welcomes. That is the stream sponsorship. So the last thing I'm going to do before I get to the standard Q&A, as well as the donations that have come in, I am going to talk to you about our stream subject. This is an update to an ongoing story that we have spoken about in the past, so for quick context. It is known that the SCP Foundation Wiki is approaching the SCP 10K contest, 10Con. The SCP Wiki already has over 10,000 SCPs, between the 9,000 and something regular main list SCPs, as well as joke SCPs, explains, things like that. There are actually already more than 10,000 SCPs. But on the main list, there is, in fact, gaining to be the final 10,000 contest. Now, on its face, the SCP Wiki doesn't really need to limit how many SCPs there are in any way, because they can always just open up more slots. This is true. But we just had 9Con a short time ago. We just had a couple other official and unofficial contests. And so what that means is two things. Number one, the contest team is hella tired. They've been running contest. They need a break. Number two, all of those contests, official and unofficial, means that the main list is filling up even faster than ever. We have more authors than ever, and we have more SCPs being written day to day than ever. So miss me with that, the SCP fandom is dead bullshit, by the way. You're welcome. But on top of everything I've just said, the SCP contest team really wants the 10Con to happen in the same time frame as the 1 year anniversary, as the 20-year anniversary of the SCP community. Because SCP's birthday is in June of 2007. We are less than a year to being a 20-year-old fandom. And I tell you what, it's pretty impressive for any fandom to still be alive and kicking 20 years later. That is right up there with different television series. Supernatural got 15 years. All sorts of stuff. So this is pretty impressive overall. But that means they needed a stopgap to make sure the main list didn't fill up before the 20-year anniversary. They didn't want to just close applications to SCPs. So what they have done is they have introduced a new non-numbered series. The new series is called the Lost SCP series. Now, a funny thing I noticed when I was looking into this is If you look at the page for the Lost SCP series, you might notice instead of an SCP Foundation logo, there's a dinosaur, a Triceratops to be exact. Why? A Triceratops? I don't understand the reference. But furthermore, if you look at the thumbnail of this stream, you will notice that the logo is not a Triceratops. Instead, the logo is the old school Josie the Half-Cat outline. A lot of people don't know, but Josie the Half-Cat was kind of the community's mascot for a very long time back in the old days. And so if you look at it on mobile, which is where I got the thumbnail from by screen capping it, the Lost SCP series actually has the old school Josie logo, which is just very cute as a reference. Don Brando, you're saying it can also be Josie. Does it do that on the desktop as well if I refresh it a couple times? I know that it's Josie on mobile, but I keep... oh, there's Josie. Okay, it can switch back and forth. Good to know. Thank you for telling me that, Don Brando. We are learning more as this develops. But let me read off the introduction to the Lost SCP series to you. Somewhere in the vast labyrinthine walls of the Foundation, a folder is being misplaced. A backup is corrupting. A budget is getting slashed. Ow, that hits really close to home. Ugh. A low priority anomaly is disappearing overnight. A set it and forget it policy is becoming good enough because it has to be. Who takes note of these things? Who commits them to memory? The Lost SCP series is about things that are just that. Lost. Writers are free to interpret this how they will, but no interpretation should produce things that would be right at home in the main series. Experiment. Produce strange and unusual things. Let the anomalous be startling again. Whatever you do, remember that things always become lost for a reason. And so I am just tickled pink, haha, and very excited to see the experimental works that the SCP Foundation authors put together in this new Lost SCP series. Internal Roamer, I agree, it does sound awesome. And so for today's stream, what we are going to be doing is I'm going to be doing the general Q&A. But in between, I'm going to be taking a quick peek and a quick summary of some of the lost articles that are already on the database. Because you know, as soon as that opened, because this has been planned for a while, some SCP authors were ready to jump right on to the Lost series. Now, I do want to let you know before we get into that, SCP-L000 is blocked off for some reason. It only has the iterative data lost. Apparently, there's going to be a contest entry for SCP Lost 000. SCP Lost 001 is also blocked off. It looks like they are debating whether or not there's going to be Lost 001 proposals. Very interesting. And the only other entry that is not allowed to be utilized is SCP-L173. The Lost 173 has its own set of things here. Let's take a look. If you are wondering what is up, please read this first. It is highly recommended that you consider the following rumors. Maybe it'll be some kind of mega collab. I bet they could get some authors who haven't been around in a while to come back for a special event. Nah, it's probably a contest. It'd almost have to be nostalgia themed, wouldn't it? But we just had one of those. Could be Forgotten Legends, Lost History, or something like that. Someone who's friends with an admin said that it's going to be an ARG for a big budget film. They're going to announce it once the first person solves it or something. I think it'll just go to a big name author. You know which ones I'm thinking of. It was probably decided behind the scenes a while ago, and now they're just waiting for the author to finish their article. I just hope it's not another article by V. Sherm, because that'd be a huge letdown. You absolute bastards! How dare you! I did not read this ahead of time. I am reading this for the first time, and that's very rude. Fucking got me. Ouch. That burns. But really, I think we all know that staff hasn't decided. They probably have meetings about how to come up with a list of opinions to vote on. I don't think they've even figured out what to do with SCP-9999 yet. Above all, keep this in mind. Speculation is highly encouraged, but staff will neither confirm nor deny. While you are not obligated to do any of the above, you've got to do something while you wait for the article to go up. If you want the best chance of guessing correctly, it is your responsibility to do your due diligence beforehand as site members to make the most ridiculous scenarios you can think of up. If you understand the above and are ready to stop poking around where you don't belong, click here to go to the Discord server. So, that is everything we know about the Lost series before we start going into the articles. But before I go into the articles, I'm going to do some due diligence and catch up on the donos and a little bit of general Q&A before we start reading them. So, returning to the chat. Scarlett, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a poppy-seeded bagel on your way past the commissary. It's totally not 1:20 a.m. right now for me, I swear. That sounds suspiciously like it's 1:20 a.m. for you. It is a Saturday, though, so possibly you're fine being up this late? I leave this to your own self-care, but do remember you have to do self-care. A well-rested researcher is one who doesn't get their face chomped off. Blue Phantom, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member, as well as those gifted memberships you gave out earlier. Please grab yourself a chimichanga on your way past the commissary. How do you think the puppy of interest will react to fireworks today? Also, how is yours at the desk today? Well, my day is going a little heart attacky after those VIP tickets sold out, but I was glad I was able to get a hold of them and their staff and confirm what I should do just in case to make sure we get the most of our mission. Puppy of Interest 42, as I said, we'll see how she reacts to fireworks tonight. Hourglass, thank you for sending a good game easy to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will have a good game, and it will be easy. Zerdrin, thank you for your nearly 3 years as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your long-term membership and service. Hello, Pup of Interest 42 and friends. Well, hello to you, and as I said earlier, long time no see. Hope you've been doing well. I think I saw you say your job search was going hellish, so I do hope you find a position that is suitable for your needs and skills sooner than later. Blue Phantom, thank you for those 5 gifted memberships. Much appreciated. Black Phoenix, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they appreciate being a 1-star rated team, one step closer to a 5-star chat. Gray and Blue Phantom and Nobody, thank you all for sending the exact amount of stars needed to make the chat a 5-star ranked Containment Hazard Assessment team. Very good job getting a 5-star ranking this early. Let's see how well you maintain it. Black Phoenix, thank you to you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a bagel dog on your way past the commissary. Happy 4th and congratulations to France. What did France do? Did they win a World Cup game? I'm not a World Cup viewer. I am going to assume that's what you mean until I'm corrected. Ace of Luck, Thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. I do see it got desked due to being in another language, but Desk did send me a translation. Please grab yourself some escargot on your way past the commissary. And before I read the translation, let me see what I can do with my rudimentary high school French. Dr. Sherman, I am in the 3008, so IKEA. I am not coming. I am not. Okay, no. My rudimentary high school French did not succeed at this. Dr. Sherman, I got into SCP 2008, and I don't know how I ended up in France. Help. Well, that makes sense. The door does move, and although the door does not move you to other places in our universe, because the infinite IKEA door only releases into one IKEA, which we have locked down, you probably got released into another universe in France. So at least that universe has a France. It must be something like our own. Titanborn, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a blueberry muffin on your way past the commissary. For the cause, Dr. Sher Marketing. Well, thank you very much. We're doing our best. Getting these expensive as hell tickets, taking the weekend off work, trying to get merch to hand out so we can make a splash and make friends at the convention and get some cool YouTubers who maybe want to join us in the SCP community, maybe get them to help us make some movies and stuff. We're going to do our best. And we thank you for your help in this soft power play. I already made a little bit of a fool of myself, and I will be completely open with this so that you don't make the same mistakes I made. While I was talking to the customer service rep for the convention to make sure that if I got one of the industry tickets, I could still upgrade to VIP if that became available again from the wait list. I said I was thinking to myself, oh man, I got to make sure they know I'm kind of a big deal, so they know that they should help me out with this somehow. And so I said, man, yeah, I want to get the industry ticket, but I don't want to forsake getting the VIP. Is there a way to get an upgrade? My viewers are helping me pay for this, and I want to make sure that it's locked in, because if I miss out on the industry ticket, they're going to get real mad at me. And they were like, yes, you can upgrade from industry to VIP if it becomes available. That's great. We'll work that out for you. Also, super casual way of dropping that, bro. And I was like, yeah, I try to be smooth. It doesn't work out, but you notice that, huh? So yes, I'm doing my best to make sure people know what we're about and not look too stupid out there. But I did get caught pretty quick. I had in another channel introduce myself as an SCP Foundation YouTuber. So I did in the other general chat say, hi guys, I'm a YouTuber. I'm here to meet other YouTubers. Hope y'all have a good time. Hope I have a good time. First time coming. Oh, they sound really sweet. Great customer service. They seem really cool. For you guys' information, I'm not going into this blind. I'm doing all the research I can on the YouTubers who are there. I talked to some friends of mine who are big YouTube watchers, and I had them look through the guest list and see who they really thought I should look into. Furthermore, I've been looking at YouTube videos of previous years to see what they're up to. And one of the things, it seems like it's always been run pretty well by comparison of conventions. I used to work in the anime convention circuit in Florida for several years, and they have a lot of conventions, and a lot of those conventions are run by really shady folk doing really shady things. There's a lot of dash cons in Florida. You got to watch yourself and get to the respectable ones. So, with that in mind, it sounds like open source has never had that issue, which is good news. So I'm doing my best to do the research to make the best splash I can at this event. I will represent the SCP fandom and the Site-42 community with grace and aplomb. I promise. Ace of Luck, thank you for donating again to say, I wish for fireworks made out of SCP-729! That's Jake! Pardon. Ouch. Oh. We should not. Oh. Number one, we know that thing is fireproof. And secondly, if we manage to explode it, that just means it would get everywhere. We don't want that thing everywhere. Why not guitar? Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Hey, it's been a minute. Hope you've been doing well. And grab yourself some chili dogs on your way past the commissary. Hope things are good. Been a bit. The workshop is, well, gone. Can we get some help locating it? Yes. You should get the white rabbits to start looking into spatial anomalies regarding the workshop. They would know that extra dimensional space situation to help you locate that missing workshop. Nobody, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. While they have gained a prestige rank, they are now a 1-star team again. Work your way back up to 5. I believe in you. Chat. Lord Violet Blackwell, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a stein of mead on your way past the commissary. Everyone here should watch Mononoke, not the Ghibli. Oh, well, I know Studio Ghibli's Princess Mononoke, but I don't know the other Mononoke you speak of. But I'm sure the chat will take your recommendation as a, well, recommendation. Ace of Luck, thank you for donating again to say. What's this button labeled clone SCP-049 1,000 times? I'ma press it. It's shiny. Little does Ace of Luck know, but I've aimed the spout of the 049 cloning device into the cat-made waifu dimension for my own amusement and vengeance. Mwahaha. Nobody, thank you for sending 6 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They have gained a prestige rank, and now they are a 2-star team. One step closer to being a 5-star chat again. You talking random questions. Intern Keeman, yes, that is exactly what I'm doing right now. What's so bad about SCP-72? Die, SJ. I think it's kind of cute. Pardon. So you're one of those freaks, like Dr. Hessen. Fine, go have your little tea party with that abomination and leave the rest of us the hell out of it. All right, to clear my palate, I'm taking us over to the Lost series to investigate the first of the anomalies present. Let's see what the first entry in Lost is. And being that people are picking low numbers or high numbers because they know that we'll either start at the beginning or the end, I'm going to buck the trend and I'm going to start right in the middle. I'm going to start looking in the 500s first. The first Lost entry article of today's stream is SCP-L500, codename MME period. What is it? It is fairly short. We could read the whole thing, and we're going to. If it's a shorter article, we'll read the whole thing. If it is a longer article, we will summarize. So here's the 500. I'm going to show you its image first. So SCP-L500, the only purported photo of Xytem, source unknown. Let's see what this is all about. Item number SCP-L500. Object class. Oh, actually, I'm going to change that. SCP-500. So they made this they numbered it as 500, even though it's part of the Lost series. Sometimes you'll see entries do that from time to time. So let's keep tabs on that. Many of these articles are very lowly rated. I've read most of all of them. Well, they are pretty brand new, Don Brando, so that makes sense. Object class, Lucipus. Obviously, that's a new object class. I don't know what that means. Special containment procedures. Not applicable. If SCP-500's existence is confirmed, efforts should be made to block the publishing of obituaries. Collaboration with the Chinese government should be enacted if such collaboration is possible. Description. SCP-500 is the town of Xytem, purported to be located in China's Shandong province and to the west of Shuidong. SCP-500 does not exist. SCP-500 has never been confirmed to exist. Belief in its existence does not appear to function through any sort of paranormal propagation. Rumors can first be traced back to a series of local newspapers and television programs, which reported on a growing movement of people within nearby townships and provinces convinced the town had at one point existed. Reportedly, Xytem had suddenly destroyed itself, leaving nothing behind. There is no record of any mass mortality event occurring around the area. Notably, nobody's come forward to speak of family who have perished in the event. If SCP-500 did occur, no living relatives remain. Most believers claim the event happened long before it was first noticed, potentially months or years. As a collective memory, SCP-500 emerged suddenly. Sizable swaths of individuals simultaneously relayed information of the town's existence. It spread quickly, with persons hearing of the phenomena often claiming to regain memory of the transpired events. Explanations for SCP-500 varied wildly. Many claimed it to be a result of a plague or pathogen spreading rapidly throughout the population. Footnote, possibly leading to the described behavioral changes, while others believed it to be an event of paranatural or extraterrestrial origin. Others claimed individuals may have been influenced by the destruction of local food stores due to flooding or storms, or even targeted by precise government attacks. Local media stations would quickly pick up the story, spreading it even further throughout the region. It's possible this led to a greater sensationalizing of the story, but most evidence suggests otherwise. Easy circulations of the legend maintain similar levels of brutality, and details muddied in the frenzy seem to largely be related to the history of the town itself. SCP-500's history is largely illogical. Details are disparate and reconstructed from the bits and pieces of various accounts. They leave little suggestion as to why the events may have transpired. The town had no history of civil unrest and appeared politically stable. It lacked notable outside influence or attention. Greater investigation. You saw nothing. Greater investigation would yield no new results. Currently, the only evidence of the town's existence is an unsourced photo claiming to have been taken shortly before its disappearance. The body hanging in the background of this image has not been identified. Multiple private parties have performed digging throughout the region in the interest of locating possible burial sites. To date, no remains of any of the 2,534 individuals who had supposedly resided in Xytem have been located. The fact that there is, in fact, a exact number of residents is very suspicious. Author post. As I was watching one of those kind of slop-heavy YouTube horror channels when I got the inspiration to write this. It's pretty heavily based on that type of content. It is sort of written to reflect it and its tone. I'll say it hit the head on the head. It hit the nail on the head, I should say. As I said over in the Series 0 server, this document is probably just sitting in a file somewhere in some program storage office. You could even say it's lost, perhaps. Very interesting. overall, this did a pretty good job. I'll at least give this a +1. I think it gives a good little mystery here. Bite-sized. Discussion page mentioned that there's some very big glaring facts that don't make sense, such as the tam sound not being something that a town in China would use. And the author stating that they wrote it that way intentionally to have some things that don't make sense and are culturally incorrect. So yes, very interesting, the details that are there that are very specific yet wrong. Good work, author. Intern Nobody, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a Stroop waffle on your way past the commissary. Why did the frog go to jail? His car got towed. Hey, does getting your car towed, though, refer to you to going to jail? I would assume more likely getting your car towed, why did the frog walk to work? Here I am, critiquing jokes. This is where I have come as a writing community member. Help me. You're all right. You're all right. All right. Let's have a little bit of general Q&A, and then we'll move on to another Lost series SCP. Can I tell the fireworks that they look pretty? I can't remember its designation. Chesta Factory. That one is very easy to find because you can always go to the SCP Holiday Hub. A reminder, the SCP Holiday Hub is a listing of all the SCPs that are on the database, which include holidays in some way or another. And so scrolling down to the 4th of July, you've got SCP-4546, which is a sparkling personality. This is fireworks that do different things if you compliment them, because the fireworks enjoy being complimented. Furthermore, the second set of 4th of July fireworks is a little more dour. 6704, called Dependence Day, uses cognitohazardous fireworks to quell the uprisings of the public to make humanity docile, at least in the United States of America. You can head to the SCP Holiday Hub to find both of those entries. Since you always tell new donors to grab food, differing foods each time, roughly how many foods are served at the Site-42 cafeteria? Le Romer, the answer to how many foods are served at the Site-42 commissary is yes. It is my belief, as site director here at Site-42, that a happy staff member is a productive staff member, which is why we have looser dress code requirements to allow staff members to put their personality forward. And part of our staff budget is the very, very well-stocked commissary. I absolutely dare you to talk to our top-of-the-line commissary employees and find something they cannot serve you. I double dog dare you. Doctor, one of my personnel just looked at SCP-096. Well, intern Anton, then one of your personnel is going to die. Clean up the mess afterwards. Bag and put 096 back where it belongs. Is the Lost series not a similar concept to the Department of Abnormalities, at least the base idea tone? Well, we will find out along the way. The Department of Abnormalities... the Department of Abnormalities is definitely similar in that it is a previous version of the Foundation, or a lost department, and we are finding remnants of their work. I do believe the Department of Abnormalities is much more specific to the, we're finding the remnants of containment. We're not actually finding old anomalies. We're finding the remnants of containment of anomalies past. And sometimes it can be a little dark and yet wistful. So we aren't doing the article purge anymore. 369 Destroyer, I have not heard of article purge. Oh, a new thing? Interesting. Yes, Firefly Lily. This is the Lost SCP series that we are talking about today. It is available on the sidebar of the front page of the SCP database. You go to the sidebar, and you'll see series 1 through 10, and then the Lost series below that. I'll check with Internet Outreach if they are still planning that. Thank you, Desk, for the effort. Oh my. They are definitely hitting hard on the newest pages list for the Lost series. SCP L003 is 3 hours ago. L008 is 1 hour ago. And L726 is 46 minutes ago. The authors are Salamin, the Lost series. Intern Lopez, thank you for sending a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Intern Siren, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a red, white, and blue frosting cupcake on your way past the commissary. Happy 4th, Dr. Sherman. Well, happy 4th to you too. The UIU keeps insisting that the Statue of Liberty is anomalous and there's a weird tree inside and they are feeding it. Is this known to the Foundation yet? Intern Jess, I am unfamiliar with this, but let me see what I can find on the database. SCP 8911, 8911, codename Higher and Higher. Funny reference to the Ghostbusters 2, I notice. SCP-8911 is the Statue of Liberty, which became animate through thaumaturgic means on September 15, 2001, before ceasing all anomalous activity later the same day. 8911 was operable via control system when it was mobile, and it was used to defend Foundation, Global Occult Coalition, Horizon Initiative, and Prometheus Labs personnel, as well as civilians, during the Manhattan Dimensional Collapse terrorist incident, which is a version of anomalous 9/11 in SCP Foundation canon. This is not the time we did 9/11, by the way. That was a corrupt overseer when the SCP Foundation caused 9/11. Rough history. No, this is a different anomalous 9/11. So, yes, we brought the Statue of Liberty to life and seemingly fought a Minotaur demon using it as a giant mecha. Pretty sweet. Your love lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. You know your love keep lifting, keep on lift, keep Oh, lift me higher, higher and higher, higher. That's awesome. I am so glad we have the Statue of Liberty Mecca under our control. That's right up there with Dragon Slayer for me, SCP-5514. Dragon Slayer? Yes, intern Anger. The Dragon Slayer is SCP-5514. It is a Jaeger that, like the Statue of Liberty, we also teamed up with the Global Cult Coalition, I believe the Horizon Initiative, maybe, and we had to fight kaijus with our anomalous Jaeger. Dr. Sherman is high today. Is there an SCP that makes you high? If yes, Dr. Sherman is using it. Intern Hotel California, I am not at a higher elevation at this time. Of course, there is an anomaly we all know and love, which is capable of getting you to that sweet, sweet higher elevation. That would be Le SCP-420-J. But we are not having an SCP-420-J party today. All right. Let us pick a second Lost Series SCP to look into. What is our second Lost series we're going to do? I am going by some pure nepotism on this one because I saw in the new articles that one, the newest entry to the Lost series, is by SCP author Uncle Nicolini. And if you've been around the SCP community as long as I have, you know that Nico rarely misses. I don't know if Nico ever misses. I'm going to say that Nico don't miss. Also, I am guaranteeing right now that this will not be a miss because Uncle Nico has brought to us a litany of puppies in this article. SCP L726, SCP L726, written 52 minutes ago, has puppies all over it. You want to see the puppies, chat? Look at all these snoots. This SCP document is littered with delightful snoots. How dare! How adorable! It's a fairly long article, but we are enjoying the puppy list. Oh, there's a big one. We can see the baby boy clearly. Very good. Some nice ink. Okay. Since this is a slightly longer article, I'm going to summarize this one, but I know I'm already going to upvote it. So, item number, dog snoot. Object class, provisional or Euclid Provisi. Special containment procedures. Researcher Santos is currently being investigated over their involvement in the creation of Redacted. And it's redacted. Every time it's redacted, it's a dog's picture. Personnel are to avoid mentioning redacted outside of testing environments and interviews with Santos. Further containment procedures are pending. In parentheses in red. Is that good? In blue. I don't know, you tell me. Description. Puppo refers to a hazard of some type. Red. Could be mimetic. Blue. This is hardly clinical. You can do better. Affecting mention of doggo and resembles a puppo. This extends to all known mediums of communication, including verbal and written. Puppo initially manifested on 26th of July, 2026, when Santos called Site 55 to report the anomaly. So this manifested 22 days in the future, And it's just back to us? Oh, hold. I think we might have a hater. Intern Mark says, you must be gay. What makes you say that, Intern Mark? I wonder, Mr. Mark, why do you presuppose my gayness by chance? I'm interested in this conversation for a moment. I'll let you speak before I say anything pro or con. Unless they run away. Because if they run away, then we lose the game. Or I guess they lose the game. Out of cowardice. I know there's a 30-second slow mode. I know we're reading an SCP, but sometimes I like to engage with the haters for fun. And profit. Can I play with this one, Doc? Well, Desk, it seems like they don't want to play. So, I guess they have thrown the game at this rate. But, to reiterate our stance here, the SCP Foundation is an LGBTQIA-friendly space. We support the LGBTQIA community. The SCP Foundation database does, as well as myself, Site42. Now, I, Dr. Theron Sherman, am asexual, the A of the LGBTQIA. Although, be aware, I am asexual, but my author, on the higher pataphysical narrative level above me, is cishet. So keep that in mind. But we still support LGBTQIA rights and LGBTQIA wrongs. And the haters can suck it. So, since our friend ran away, let me continue with our database entry here. Puppo initially manifested 22 days in the future, so we got some time travel going on. When Santos called Site 455 to report the anomaly, further research is pending. Don't forget to include the note from the responding agent. Right, sorry. Responding agent notification. Researcher Jamie Santos was in an agitated state upon being picked up by my team and I. The house was covered in doggo, and they initially refused to go, but we figured this thing might be a cognitohazard, so we pulled them out ASAP, recommending psych eval. Signed, Agent Rosenberg. The following is a log of Santos's intake interview regarding doggo. And now there's an interview between psych and the agent. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and check what the containment procedures are. Personnel working with researcher Santos are to avoid broaching any dog-related topics of conversation within Santos's vicinity. No mention of their deceased dog, Panda, are to be made at all. Oh, Panda. Santos has been locked out of this file and cannot access it with their credentials. Santos is to continue to attend therapy with Dr. Langley until such a time that SCP-L726 becomes fully neutralized. Description. SCP-L726 refers to a narrativo-hazard produced when mentioning, attempting to describe, or otherwise talking, writing, or depicting researcher Jamie Santos's deceased pet dog, Panda. When talked about, L726 will cause any mention of Panda to be replaced with an image taken by Santos of their dog while she was alive. That's adorable. God rest you, Panda. She will be missed. Sorry you became a cognitohazard. So I was right to upvote for Nico. Very good. Thank you for your generous Puppo entry. Now I got to make my way back to the Lost SCP series. There we go. Okay, we'll come back to this after some chat. The Lost series is meant to not match the main series, thus rules relating to structure, CSS, and page formatting should be ideally different from the main list, along with relating to loss. That makes sense. Where did you get that description, Don Brando? I'm interested. Is the amazing digital circus an anomaly? Intern Kinger, I do believe that due to standard civilian technology not being able to copy minds in that manner or suck your soul into a game, whatever that turned out to be, I never watched it, that yes, it seems to be quite anomalous. I think Jaime is the pronunciation because Santos is a Latin American name. You know, that makes sense. Time check. We are currently 1 hour into today's stream, everyone, which means we are likely to go for about 30 minutes to 1 more hour for today's stream. Now, reminder that we are currently in the middle of a casual donation drive where I am trying to go to a very highfalutin YouTube convention to meet and network with YouTube corporate as well as YouTube content creators of varying levels of fame to bring them the glory of the SCP Foundation and to help both myself and the SCP Foundation content creator community to attain bigger networks of interest from YouTube filmmakers, YouTube tech makers, animators, and the like. So if you want to and are able to donate a little bit extra this week to help me mitigate the extremely pricey ticket price for this convention, I would genuinely appreciate your generosity in this. It was in the poll when deciding how to treat L articles. I also recommend L56, which is also by Nico, and L100 was neat too. Well, Don Brando, I will take those recommendations in stride as we continue. But first, Firefly Lily, thank you for sending 13 sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am certain they will enjoy cleaning that unlucky number of glitter bombs. Dr. Sherman, do you have any knowledge on SCP-1875? I do believe I remember this anomaly, if I'm thinking of the right one. Yes, the chess automaton. What about it? Trying to find your message again. Where is your message? Do you have any knowledge on 1875? Yes. 1875 is a chess automaton, and back in the day, there was a lot of chess, fake chess machines where, oh, you're playing against a machine, but actually it was a dude cramped into the box playing chess against you. And so this is an actual chess automaton, which is anomalous AF, which is why it's contained. I'm confused as to what it does. Well, intern Tilo, it plays chess. It is an actual chess automaton. As I said, chess automatons throughout history have always been fake. A guy inside the machine pretending it was a computer. But I guess, if I remember correctly, this person put the souls of children in here to make the chess automaton work properly. So it's just a machine that plays chess. But it's a spooky machine that plays chess. Does it, like, haunt you while it plays chess by chance? It just gives you prolonged feelings of anxiety after making eye contact with the armor's faceplates. So yes, it's just a chess computer that is haunted AF. Intern Meme Kid. No, P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Sean Puffy Combs, is not an SCP. It turns out rich pedophiles are just normal in our elite class. The truly Epstein class of our government thrives to this day, in part thanks to SCP 5004-B, the current President of the United States of America. And we all have to suffer with that knowledge as much as it hurts. Intern Nobody, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They are now a 3-star rated chat. Let's see if they can make up to 5 stars. What's the SCP that when you drink it, you see a shrimp jazz band? Intern Solvable Mango, I do believe you might be talking about one of my old videos. In which case, what you are actually looking at is... What you're looking at is a non-SCP that I was reacting to as if it were an SCP. So that is not canon, which means it's not on the SCP database. You'll notice in my videos, if I'm reacting to something as if it's an SCP, but it's not, I typically call it SCP redacted. That way, it doesn't get confused with an actual SCP. Also, the Triceratops SCP logo is an interpretation of lost media for the Foundation. How fitting. Ah, Don Brando, I thought that had something to do with the old television series, The Land of the Lost. Living in the land of the lost. Living in the land of the lost. Land of the lost. That theme song really gets stuck in your head. Firefly Lily, thank you for sending 23 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have granted them 5 prestige ranks and also made them a 1-star Containment Hazard Assessment team again. So they still got to work their way up to 5 stars. Uh-oh. Firefly Lily, something happened with the lag of the GIFs, and the number I got 23, but you sent 25. That would have made them a 5-star team. But now, that makes them a 3-star team, and then you sent 4, 5, 1, 2, and then Nate Stormer made them a 3-star team. So they get another prestige rank, and they are currently a 3-star team. I'm sorry the lag betrayed you in that way. The SCP you just read is gone. I read it with you, and now it doesn't exist on the list. Intern Lola Bunny. Which one are you talking about? Is it L726 that is dead? L726 is still on the database. What was the other one we read? SCP L500. MME is still on the list. Yes, the puppy. Lola Bunny, L726 is still on the list for me. Are you perhaps looking at the wrong number? If I refresh the page, does it? Yeah, it's still there. And it's at a +10 rating, and it still exists. Mine says data lost. For L726? I don't know what to do with that, intern Lola Bunny. It's perfectly capable of seeing on my database. Maybe you're being fired from the Foundation in real time, and so your access is being revoked? I'm sorry for your loss of job. All right, why don't we read another article? Now, Don Brando has given us some good intel on the Lost series, so I want to grace Don Brando with their choice of the next Lost SCP that we read. So I will wait for Don Brando to pick the next SCP that we look at. Either read the whole one or a summary, depending on the length. Have you gone to that YouTuber event? Wacky Clown, Open Sauce, the YouTuber event in question, is in 2 weekends. It is the 17th, 18th, and 19th of July. And so I did get the my industry ticket, the second tier most expensive ticket, because the VIP highest tier sold out. And so I wanted to make sure I got the industry ticket just in case, so I don't lose the opportunity to go at all. And then if VIP opens up, I'm on the wait list to get upgraded. So yes, if you wish to help me cover the extreme cost of this event, the ticket price, getting stickers to this, I am very grateful to you guys' donation in helping me to be our diplomat at the big YouTuber convention. Don Brando has suggested L100. Let's take a look. Oh, and by the way, before I start reading into this, remember, if you guys know anybody on the featured creators on that website, please give me the intel if there's someone I want to reach out to chat about. Send it to my business email, which is linked in the Site42 support beacon pinned in the chat. And say, hey, I know this YouTuber, they make X, Y, and Z, and they would be a good contact. It's a lot to research, so the more help I have from the chat, the more effective I can be in the field. Okay. So, Brando wants us to look into L100. Now, L100 is a little bit longer and wordy, but let's see what we can get as a read out here. So this starts with a note of some sort. Let's read the note first. So have I made the long trek to Egypt in the footsteps where walked Christian Rose Cross by one direction and Amberlin the other, and I have found the stone of the ancients from Mercury and the alembic of Mary the Jew, and I have revealed the keys of Basil Valentine all, but for nothing. For I have arrived at the house of death, where the shadows cast longer than one can see with eyes alone, and after it all, there sat the reaper with a pale smile. His wife was knitting a shroud of 100 miles, and he sat in a rocking chair under its shade, under the shade of 7 suns. And at that crossroad, attested upon none of the maps of the living, I was made to choose, and for once, I chose to rest. Now, this has a photograph of director C.G. Herbert, 1912. It remains unknown why director Herbert's image is often found attached to primary documentation of SCP-L100. All right, let's see what they got. Object class Euclid, classification Realitas Breaker. Special containment procedures. A perimeter is to be maintained around SCP-L100, totally prohibiting entry into the anomaly or other nearby premises. SCS-017 is to be deployed, designating the area of the anomaly a state-restricted nature preserve and scientific research area interdicted from public ingress. An on-site Kant counter constantly gauges the humetric density of the anomaly in relation to the surrounding environment, so as to provide advance warning if its boundaries were ever to become unstable or begin to expand. Active contingencies in the event of the anomaly zone becoming unstable are classified Level 3, L100. Description: SCP-L100 constitutes a highly volatile ontological exclusion zone of approximately 1755 square kilometers in the Department of Magdalena, Colombia, near the nation's northern coast. Currently, SCP-L100 possesses no describable physical or metaphysical characteristics, no internal contents quantifiable by dimension, composition, or topology, and no means of interaction with baseline reality. Logical deduction yields that the physical entrance into SCP-L100 must either be impossible or result in spontaneous, retroactive non-existence. As I thought, this also links, that description links to SCP-3930, codename the Pattern Screamer. So the area of Russia that also does not exist. There's another note. There's some interesting time loop shenanigans. This does seem pretty cool. Even based on this little summary I'm starting with, I'm going to go ahead and give that an upvote out of trust. And you should go give SCP-L100 a read on the database. I will now return to the chat for some general Q&A. First and foremost, let me catch up with donations that have come in. Ooh, pardon me. Start to get yawny when I yap so much. Firefly Lily, thank you for sending a press F to pay respect to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will pay respect. Nate Stormer, thank you for sending a plethora of stars, totaling in 49 stars, which grants the chat 10 prestige ranks and leaves them as a 2-star Containment Hazard Assessment team. So they're still working their way up to 5, but they have many more prestige ranks, which is good. Firefly Lily, thank you for sending 2 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team to make them a 4-star team, even closer to 5 stars. 100 stars love, thank you for sending 5 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have given them a prestige rank and kept them at a 4-star ranking for the time being. What SCP projects are you looking forward to the most and why? Right now, SCP Academy by Dark Math Films on YouTube is gearing up to kickstart its 2nd episode, starting in August. So those are my boys. I would like to see Dark Math Films get their 2nd episode funded. I have a secondary secret project that I know about, I'm in conversation with, and when I am allowed to tell you about it, I certainly shall. And of course, Wacky Clown, for your taste, I do look forward to see what you do with SCP Confinement, the reboot animation. Intern Mystery, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please grab yourself some cottoned candy on your way past the commissary. Hope you can get to the place you're wanting. I, the leader of the Squish Army, have now had a job for almost a year. This makes it so I can help more. Well, thank you for your generosity, intern Mystery. We will definitely be at that convention. The ticket is purchased. It's very expensive. It's currently on a credit card. So yes, your assistance in helping me to mitigate that cost sum is much appreciated. We are doing our best to send me as the diplomatic envoy of the SCP Foundation to this YouTuber convention to get more YouTubers to know the SCP Foundation exists, to get YouTube corporate to pay attention to us, to maybe get YouTube corporate to help out the SCP Foundation like they've done with YouTube Originals in the past, to maybe invite me to VidCon. I don't know. We'll see what we can work. There's something in my brain I remember I wanted to look at. What was I thinking of? John SCP representing us. Yes. Yes, I am colloquially known as John SCP to many. Oh boy, oh boy, oh. Okay. Good, good. Good, good. Did you use Amsnika? Amsnika. Intern Sam, I don't know what Amsnika is. By its etymology, it seems to be close to amnestics. Is that what you're aiming for? Please clarify. How are you feeling today, by the way? Wacky Clown, I'm doing pretty good today. As you notice, I am streaming late on a Saturday, which is unusual. My cover job obviously was off for the 4th of July holiday, so I'm spending the day with you guys instead. On top of which, I went to the gym. I had some good cardio. The Foundation Fitness Initiative rehab policy is going well. I have reclaimed one pair of my blue jeans. And so we are on our way to reclaiming some old clothes that will once again fit. So there's a good place to be in. We are positive today. Remember to join the Foundation Fitness Initiative. You don't have to be the fastest researcher, just not the slowest. That's how you survive the containment breaches. And fit into your old-timey breeches. Haha. And also, Brian is somewhat cooperating. We might be able to remove Brian from my shoulder in the next couple of days. Brian, of course, being the parasitic centipede that lives in my shoulder, which is why it's swollen and painful. Brian also has a psychic connection to my brain and can read people's thoughts, which actually came in quite handy this morning. Some of the interns were not talking shit at the water cooler, but they were thinking shit. And Brian alerted me to their tomfoolery, and I was able to get my site director's vengeance upon them. So, you know, watch yourself. How do you recommend to start working out? I have no idea where to begin. Intern Wacky Clown. The first thing I would do if you have the opportunity and means is I would definitely try to find a gym with a personal trainer. That is because, just like any skill, you should get educated about the thing you are trying to do. And even just a month of private sessions, which can go anywhere from $200 to $600 for one session a week, depending on how expensive that trainer is. Sometimes it's like $50 a session, sometimes it's $100 a session or something. But you want someone to teach you not just what exercises you need to do, but also how to do your form so you are effective and not going to injure yourself. Now, you can also do this by studying books and YouTube fitness places. Just don't get sucked into any scams or supplements or things like that you don't need. Just look at fitness training tips. There's a lot of information out there, so try to find what works for you and doesn't cause you to get injured. That's the most important part. Typically, people split their exercises between upper body days and lower body days. Never work out the same muscle 2 days in a row because your muscle needs 48 hours to recover before the next workout. Stay hydrated. This is stuff that you can do as general tips. I kind of cheated. My cover job is as a ballroom dance instructor, and so I've always been somewhat fit. My stage combat troupe also made me do a lot of yoga, so I've also had decent body awareness. And then when I moved to California and I didn't have enough dance clients to pay the rent, I attempted to become a personal trainer. And so I did a personal training course, which requires you to read a lot of books about personal training to get your certification. I never got certified, so I am not a professional. But I do have a lot of knowledge up here that most people don't get. So even if you just read some books about personal training, that'll give you a lot of knowledge straight up. Intern Nobody, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They are finally a 5-star chat again. Nobody at all. Thank you for making them a 1-star team again. At least you guys got a prestige rank. Intern Rafa, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. How many gifted memberships for you to get verified so we can finally have an SCP site-directed Foundation Fitness Initiative /J? The Dr. Sherman OnlyFans Foundation Fitness Initiative is still on the table. I haven't decided yes or no yet. It will not be thirst traps. It would end up being tasteful thirst traps, because fitness pics are tasteful thirst traps. When you're showing off the guns, when you're doing fit pics, those are inherently thirst traps, now that I think about it. I'll have to consider this very deeply. Remember, just because you're asexual doesn't mean you can't slay. Keep that in mind. All right, let's take it to another Lost article. And this time, Mamori's been pumping up SCP L999, codename Cranial Valve. So let's take a look at it. Cranial Valve. Oh. Well, that is right what it says on the tin. Cranial Valve is, in fact, a valve in the cranial. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. Frickin', I didn't realize the Valve logo was an SCP. Item number SCP-L999, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. Due to the specific conditions required to reproduce SCP-L999, spontaneous civilian discovery is considered unlikely. Nonetheless, Foundation web crawlers are to search for any publications referencing cranial valve implantation. Individuals possessing knowledge of SCP-L999 are to be amnesticized. Description. SCP-L999 is a phenomenon in which the surgical implantation of an industrial gate valve into the human cranium and subsequent rotation displaces the subject along the fourth spatial dimension. The means by which SCP-L999 was originally discovered, along with the records of how the Foundation gained this information, have been lost. You can use the valve to, again I quote, displace the subject along the fourth spatial dimension. WTF. SCP-L999 testing. The implications of reliable fourth-dimensional displacement on biological subjects prompted the authorization of formal testing. Now we move on to the testing log for implantation testing. Implantation requires the removal of a circular section of the cranium to accommodate the valve stem, which must be anchored directly into the exposed cavity. The valve body is seated flush against the exterior of the skull, with surrounding tissue closed around the base. The following sites were tested for viability. Temporal lobe. Result: anchoring caused surrounding bone to splinter inward during torquing, driving fragments into the temporal lobe and middle meningeal artery. Subject died of intracranial bleeding within minutes. Within the parietal bone, implantation held during procedure but failed to bond with the stem. Valve loosened post-surgery, tearing the underlying dura mater. Subject expired within 48 hours. Frontal bone. Immediate subject death. Occipital bone. Implantation successful. Retesting of previous implantation sites is pending. Now we have test L999-01. Activation testing. Location Site 149, Testing Chamber 7. Date July 26, 2006. That's the second time something has taken place on July 26. That's strange. Subject L999-A4. Subject was positioned standing in the center of the testing chamber. A Foundation researcher was assigned to rotate the valve clockwise. A second researcher was stationed to observe and document the following: visible displacement of the subject along an unobservable axis, perceptual distortion of the subject's physical form during traversal, any verbal response from the subject during activation. Test duration was 1 second approximately, and content warning for gore. Result: success. Recorded observations. Upon rotation, the subject was successfully displaced along the fourth axis. Observers reported the subject twisting and elongating following an inversion which exposed its skin and internal structures simultaneously. Portions of the subject passed beyond observable space and did not return. Displacement ceased before completion. The subject came apart across the floor of the chamber, with the resultant debris no longer identifiable as human. So, perhaps we humans are not ready for or capable of travel across the fourth dimensional plane. The cleanup for that test is hell. But yes, I guess the test was in fact successful. I will give that an upvote. I did appreciate it. And we will be returning to the chat for some more general Q&A. Please beware, we are currently 95 minutes into this stream, which means there is 25 minutes remaining. 25 minutes remaining in this stream. How do you memorize these SCPs and data? Intern Justa. I do not have a rapid iron lock memory of all of these SCPs. I very often have to look them up. Now, there are some that we talk about so often that the number and the anomaly stick for me. If you ask me about 096, I know what 096 is. If you ask me about 682, I know what 682 is. My favorite SCPs, I remember their number because they're my favorites. My SCPs, I remember their numbers because I wrote them. And so It's just a how many times have we talked about it, really? And, you know, since I've been making SCP videos for over 11 years now, I've got a pretty good bead on them. Please beware. The moderator has a scared puppy in front of him. The moderator will not be toying when scared puppy is here. The mod will be nuking. All right, follow the rules, chat. What's your favorite SCPs? Intern Francis. I always tell you my favorite SCPs at the end of stream. It's a tradition around these parts. So you can wait the approximately 24 now minutes until the end of stream to hear my favorites. You can always donate, and in return of your generosity, I will say so immediately. Or you can skip to the end of yesterday's stream and watch the ending. You have multiple paths ahead of you. I wonder which you will pick. How many SCP are there right now? Intern Smith, if I go to the SCP database and I click on the bottom of an SCP, the tag SCP, then it will show me every SCP that is tagged on the database, of which currently there are 10,546 pages tagged as an SCP. 10,546 current SCPs. Quite a bit. What would you do if SCP-173 spawned in your house? You probably wouldn't have 3 people in the room. Intern Rose? The likelihood? Die. I am a researcher. I am not supposed to be the front line against these anomalies. The odds of my survival in an altercation with many of the anomalies we contain is quite low. That is why I join the Foundation Fitness Initiative, so I can run fast to get away from the anomalies, so I don't die. Darn, just goes to show how long this community's been dedicated to writing stuff. You're damn right, La Romer. We have been around for 19 years, going on 20. This community has had a lot of time to write. What's the Lost series? Intern Childish Labs. The Lost series is a new list of SCPs separate from the main numbered list. It is meant for lost articles, experimental articles, play with the formats. And so we're getting some very interesting pieces as this just started recently. You can head to the SCP database, and in the sidebar, you will find the Lost series page, so you can check it out. I'm real grateful that of all fandoms I chose, I'm in the SCP fandom. It kind of saved my media literacy. Yes, Mamori, it is a tragic fact that we are in this bubble of a reading fandom in a world where media literacy is declining at a rapid rate. Tragic. How do the SCPs get their numbers? Intern Smith. SCPs get their numbers on a first-come, first-served basis by the SCP authors. They write the SCP article, and then when it is complete, they choose one of the numbers that are available. And so, sometimes they will try to pick a number that is thematic in some way to their article, if they can. But, to the best of their ability, it's a first-come, first-served system. Why do you always ignore my comments? Intern Flambe, this is the first time I've seen your name today. I have never seen your comments before this, so please do me a favor and give your main character syndrome a rest. There are 56 other people in this chat asking questions. I'm not ignoring you. I didn't see you, but now you have been seen. Rose Gray, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Isn't there a few where they have the same numbers? I might be wrong. Intern Justa, I don't know of any SCPs that share a number. I can't think of any, at least off the top of my head. Can anyone tell me what is the SCP Foundation Chinese branch and why are the entities so powerful? Intern Patajoshi, I do not know that the Chinese branch has any particularly powerful entities compared to any other international branch, but the Chinese branch of the SCP Foundation would refer to the Chinese language branch of the SCP database. There are branches in different international languages for multiple SCP Foundation sites. And so the foreign language branches do have their own list of SCPs separate from the English language wiki. If I go to SCP International, then let's see who we've got access to. The international branches list. Russian, Korean, Chinese, French, Polish, Spanish, Thai, Japanese, German, Italian, Ukrainian, Portuguese, Czech, traditional Chinese, Vietnamese, Standard Galactic, Tagalog, and Greek. That is our list of international language branches. Reminder, it is based on languages, not on country. Although since countries and languages often overlap, there is that possibility. Intern Brick Build, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Standard Galactic? From which fandom? Let me take a look and see if they are specific to it. It might be coming from the German branch. At least the German branch is mentioned a bunch. Oh no, the German branch has recently started translating the Standard Galactic ones. So where are the Standard Galactic ones? Also, what the hell is this? Addendum. Inspection of the SCP-SGA-171 instances revealed that each one possessed a small plate on their underbelly region with the following inscription. Warlock Gulch Cowboys. Captain Lewis has requested the Mobile Task Force Kappa 5, codename Yeet Haw, be assigned to investigate the potential group of interest. The Warlock Gulch Cowboys. Yeet Haw. That is from an article called Cowboys in Chaos, SCP SGA 171, if you want to look into that. Don Brando, you're saying it comes from Commodore game Commander Keen? First and foremost, I have not heard of Commander Keen in so long. Oh my gosh, I used to play me some Commander Keen. And secondarily, where are you finding that information so I can double confirm? I'm not seeing anywhere where Standard Galactic is codified, but I am interested. International Pages Hub. Other. Discuss. Standard. Search for standard. Search for standard. Yeah, I can't find it, so I'm interested in where you're getting that intel, Don Brando. It's common online. If it's the same SGI I know, the enchanting language in Minecraft too. Okay, interesting, interesting, good to know. Also used in Stargate Atlantis. Interesting. No, sorry, that's the initial Stargate Atlantis. I am wrong, ignore me. There we go. Okay, well, it's got its own Wikipedia page, so I'm going to assume that you're right, Don Brando. Intern Ian, thank you for sending a 6-7 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure that Desk will be mildly annoyed, but has bigger fish to fry. By the way, Site 42 staff, 13 minutes left in stream, so get your last minute questions in. Also, allow me to take a quick clandestine peek at Agent Charlemagne, who rarely lets us catch him on camera. Let's not anymore. Charlemagne, you're busy. I apologize. My bad. That was improprietous of me. Asker, thank you for sending a sundae to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they found it delicious. Amber, thank you for sending a floating heart to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they feel the love. If you had the motivation and ideas, would you write your own Lost SCP? LaRomer, if I had an idea for an experimental SCP like that, I would be interested in writing one. It's just, you know, right now, between all the work I'm doing elsewise, I haven't written an SCP in a very long time. That's what happens when you work multiple jobs. What was your favorite SCP you wrote? Of my SCPs that I wrote, I think my personal favorite is SCP-5886, due to just me being that attached to the song that I based it on. I don't usually share my writing publicly, but I'm breaking out of my shell lately. Hopefully I'll pick this up. Mamori, good luck. I hope that you make your way if you want to. $369 Destroyer, thank you for what I think is your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a slice of coffee cake on your way past the commissary. Han, the regenerating severed hand, could probably take L999 and successfully time travel. Regen plus less mass. It is part of Alpha 9 after all. Your logic is pretty sound to me. Now here's the problem though. Here's the problem. Are you ready? Han, the regenerating hand, Does not have a skull. No cranium. Can't put a valve in a cranium if there's no cranium. That's just, I just thought of that right off the top of my head here. Don Brando, I don't think you need to send a link to the Commander Keen wiki, because I do believe if anyone wants to look up standard galactic language, they now know the Commander Keen wiki is where they can go. Also, YouTube doesn't seem to let people in the chat send links anyways. I haven't found the setting to fiddle with that. Will SCP get to the 5-digit numbers? Intern Montgomery, the problem is we're actually reaching the 5-digit numbers too soon. The 5-digit numbers start at the 10K contest. And we actually opened up today's stream subject, the Lost SCP series, to delay that so that 10Con will roll over with the 20-year anniversary of SCP. So we are working on stopping it from hitting 10Con too soon. Do you have a least favorite SCP? Intern Wacky Clown, I do not. I don't like to approach art from that way, even SCPs that are not to my taste. If they've got the community vote for them so that they stay on the site, usually there's at least some sort of communal reason this is here, in a manner where I can see that even if it's not for me, I'll allow it, so to speak. For instance, one of the most reviled SCPs on the site by loser chuds who suck is SCP-2721, the Homestuck Trans Satellite. And they hate it because it's trans. They hate it because it's a self-insert. They've never read it, so they don't know anything about, oh, it's got trans and Homestuck, it's cringe. But the article is actually pretty well written. It has its flaws, of course, but overall, it's a good article. And yet, because so much of its prose is cringe Tumblr speak, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me to read it. And so I don't like it, but I respect it. Because of that outlook, I try not to have a least SCP if I can help it. I'm not sure 20 years after what day specifically is the anniversary. The day that SCP-173 was posted. Posting date, it's June something. It is June 22nd. June 22nd, 2007 is the birth of SCP. And so June 22nd is SCP's birthday. Agent Charlemagne. Hello. Is there something you want, baby boy? What a charming boy. Let's pick this back up. There we go. Can we let SCP-999 have fun with SCP-682 again? Know that we will need to use an airlock-style door and noise-canceling headphones to keep the laughter wave from affecting people. I have a... What's the phrase I'm looking for? I have a bad feeling that that laughter wave situation will not be mitigated by a simple airlock door and some noise-canceling headphones. I think that the laughter wave can go through your body the same way a bomb doesn't always kill you with the fire explosion. The shock wave can liquefy your innards. I do believe the laughter wave could affect the body. How much would you need to be paid to speak kindly towards SCP-049? Who's asking? Who's paying? By the way, Site 42 staff, 3.5 minutes left in the stream. 3.5 minutes. I am asking, be nice to 049 Dr. Sherman. Intern Laromer, I kindly am disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Wacky Clown, if it's you that's paying, I doubt you have the scratch to make it work. We could make it part of the special containment procedures, so Dr. Sherman is required to be nice. Please note, it is against the rules to vandalize the SCP database in order to make jokes for Site 42. So we will not be changing the special containment procedures at this time. Thank you. Intern Nix, I do not follow Alligator lore clearly. I do not have any good tips for you besides find another position. Things don't go very well for people who study it. Also, in the poll I mentioned earlier, the summary for the proposal is the meme bruh. On the poll you mentioned earlier, policy vote. So we had the policy vote. They made it happen. Mobility, creation, tagged as the main list, proposal for unique sidebar link, relative release time frame. So this happened. It's also very bright in my eyeballs. I just looked at Shy Guy's face. What I do? Intern puppet, you die. That's the only choice. What would happen if I went to SCP-2317? We would not let you in. It's against protocol. Site42 staff, that brings us to the end of today's stream. And as I do at the end of every stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that my favorites are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. But if you wanted to read the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're on my author page, one tab over, you'll find a list of links. Links that people ask about in the chat often, but then they just aren't determined enough to go find them, no matter how many hints I give. But not you guys, Containment Hazard Assessment Team. You are determined, you are intrepid, you are clever. You will find those links. And when you do, you'll have the opportunity to become a Site42 Patreon patron or YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or a YouTube Super Chat to donate to us one at a time. Either way, we'd appreciate your direct donations. They are the quickest way to help us with this crazy YouTuber convention plan, as well as just general keeping the lights on for myself and the Site42 staff, so we thank you for your service. And if you are unable to donate because you're part of the broke gang, do not fret. We, of course, understand starving artists. We're an arts community after all. And you can still help us out by donating your time and effort as a member of Mobile Task Force Site42, codename The Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, make memes, fan art, out of context compilations, clips, and edits of not just Site42, but also the SCP projects we support. The SCP Wiki and its authors and artists, the SCP filmmakers, game devs, animators, podcasters, merch makers, etc. You get us to make bigger and better SCP projects. We will eventually have SCP movies in theaters, just like Iron Lung managed to pull off. We will have AAA SCP games, and it'll be because Mobile Task Force Site42 stepped the fuck up. So we thank you for your service. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-1115, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one. It's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043, that's what to read. So, Site42 staff, has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. Happy 4th of July, and I'll see you in the next stream. Life can show no mercy. It can tear your world apart. It can make you feel like you've gone crazy, but you're not. And things have seemed to change. There's one thing that's still the same. In my heart you have remained. And we can fly, fly, fly away. 'Cause you are not alone, and I am here with you, and we'll get lost together till the light comes pouring through. When you feel like you're done and the darkness has won, babe, you're not lost. When the world's crashing down and you cannot bear the cross, I said, babe, you're not lost. The credit song is Lost by Michael Bublé. Be safe, be well, Site42 staff, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you at the next video or stream.